Hey guys, welcome to my video today. My name is Kathy. I'm an artist and I'm actually just doing an unwrapping and a test drive of these Betem Acrylic Markers. I got these from Amazon. I got the 48 pack, so there's 48 markers in here. Let's test these out and see how they do. I am a huge paint pen lover and my paint pens tend to be getting a little dried out, so I thought I would invest in some new markers, or rather paint pens. And so I really couldn't decide which ones to get. So I wanted to try some of these more economical options that you can get on Amazon. There's like tons of them. Here's another one, Zeyar. And then I got a 10-pack of my old standby. I've been corrected by people in the comments in previous videos, so maybe they're pronounced Molotow. That's what I have been told. So I love these markers. I find the quality of the paint is excellent and very durable, because I've never gotten a set before. I've always bought them one at a time. This color of the one that I had was actually so dried out that I think that the casing is actually probably not even usable anymore. So I just don't use them enough to get the refill. You know, that could change. And if it does, I'm very much going to do that. That's partly why I bought a new set, because mine are really old and I need new, I need all the parts. So I figured I would just get a new one and then maybe get some refills as I go if I keep using them regularly. But I will do a video opening up these and getting these ready to go and sharing these with you. I got these for under $40. Last time I looked, actually, they were like running about $50, $55. I jumped on it when I saw them. I think perhaps, I don't know how Amazon works, but maybe they gave me a cheaper price because they saw me looking at a lot of paint pens. Anyway, that's just my speculation. But I wanted to unbox this with you. So this is how they come. They come in this cheapy box. It might be worthwhile to keep this. So I think that's what I'm going to do. These don't have the shaker ball. And if you listen, there's no sound. So let's see how these work. I have the Rendr sketch pad. I really like this for paint pens. I also have a HandBook journal. This is painted with matte acrylic paint, so there is some sealing on this paper, so it's not going to get all weird. I wanted to also have it on a black surface so we could see how actually opaque these are. Okay. Doesn't look super opaque. Let's try the other side. So this is a dual tipped marker. One side has a bullet tip, and then the other side has this ball thing. It's like ball tip, which is kind of interesting. I've never seen one like that before, but let's see how it works. The first thing I would suggest is, before we even get into this, have another container that you're going to use for these, because the box is really flimsy, which I'm perfectly fine with because I usually don't store my pens in the box that they come in anyway. This is how I typically keep my paint pens when I want. I just cut up the box so I can save my color chart, but if you want the information about what the claims of the pens, you can screenshot this and read it. That's that. And for now, I'll keep this with my pens. So I'm going to just pull out a few and we can do like color chart comparisons. But I just want to take out a few random samples so we can see like some warm, some cool. And then some of these shades are super similar. There's a number associated with the color, but I am not seeing where the number is on the actual pen itself. So this is something to keep in mind, unless I'm missing it, which is very possible, but I am not seeing it on the pen. That said, the colors seem, if I have to choose, I think this is Water Red 378, which is not, the names are not descriptive. And this one I'm going to guess is Sky Blue. Let's see. All right, that's very accurate. This color perhaps is purple. I'm just guessing. So for the purples, we have purple, grape purple, lilac purple, and then there's an ink blue, which all could fall under this. But let's look at the different purples that we have here. So if I'm gonna look, this would be the grape purple. This would be the purple, probably, yeah. And then this, maybe lilac purple. So just to my eyes, they look like, oh, maybe this is purple. They look pretty, like, that's pretty accurate. That looks very accurate, actually. So that looks pretty good. Yeah. So the colors looks like, even though there's no number, if you wanted to, you could lie them all out and write the number on them. I mean, honestly, for the price, I got 48 of these markers and I think I paid like 25 bucks. So that's extremely inexpensive for paint pen markers. And this, I believe, is rose. So if I just hold this up for you, if I just hold this up, just so you can see, that's pretty accurate. You can see that. Pretty accurate. I'm going to wipe it off. But pretty accurate. They're fairly opaque on the unpainted black paper, which is nice. Especially with these types of pens where you don't have the liquid inside. I've had pens like this before. In fact, here, let me show you. So this brand called, this is just an old box, this Artistro Brush Paint Pens, these kind of work similarly to these. So let me see if I can grab one. This is one of the old Artistro brush pens that I have, and it's really pretty. See, that's really pretty. It's this is like a metallic blue. And I've had these for a really long time, like years. And some of them are still juicy. Some of them are dried out, the ones that I use the most. They were my first experience with pens like this that don't have the ball. If you're looking for a swatching video, I'm just not a swatchy kind of a girl. I'm a fly by the seat of your pants type, so I will just sit here and swatch them like rando swatches. So the ball works nice and thick. And allows you to make some nice marks, which is nice. I like that. I need to test how permanent these are, because the paint itself is not as opaque, but the way that the paint is laid down is also not consistent. So you're going to get more variations in your line with these type of paint pen. As you can see here, like it's thicker over here. It's more opaque when you first put down your mark, and then it's lighter when you take it off. Whereas with a paint pen, just for the sake of showing the difference, that is that's a Posca, right? So that's very consistent. And you know, what you have to watch out for these is like you get a big glop when you press down sometimes. So like that, see? But high quality paint, very opaque, very consistent, except for when it glops. These are a different animal. So I'm really glad that I had the experience with the Artistros already, because I've used those I've had them for a really long time, and I'm able to really understand the pros and cons of this type of paint pen. now already without, you know, without feeling like I have to test these out a whole lot. I mean, obviously it's a different brand, so that, you know, is a whole different thing. But I mean, really, I don't know how different all these different brands from China are in terms of these types of pens. I have no idea. I guess that they're probably not that different, honestly, like the quality of the paint and that type of thing. Pros and cons. These are good for sketchbook. They're good for doodling around. I'm not going to use these to paint anything that I'm selling. So I'm doing these sketchbooks where I, you know, they're actually like journals, and I'm drawing on them. And I'm using my higher quality paint pens for the art on these because I never really believed it before, 100%, that a paint pen, once it's 100% dry, is actually permanent for real. I never really knew whether or not a paint pen could be permanent and, you know, could stand the test of time on a product that you use regularly. So I did this cover probably 6 months ago, and aside from like regular wear, it's awesome. Like, it's stayed. And I didn't even wipe this down with rubbing alcohol before I drew on it. I just started drawing on it one day with my paint pens. For this, I used Molotow, and I used Posca mostly. I do have some of those Artistros, but I have like this. I have a set of white that these actually do have the ball. These are not like the brush ones. This set of Artistros are, you know, like the regular paint pen with the ball and the paint and everything. And they work really good. These are great. I think this is a really good product. I got these for really inexpensive. If you buy them in a large pack and you get the ones with the shaky, they're pretty much interchangeable with any other ones, except for probably Molotow. Except with the Molotow ones, I've never used the white, but there's a quality about this paint in these. It's thicker, it's a little bit stickier, I don't want to say sticky in a bad way. Not sticky in a bad way. It's actually, there's a slight sheen to it as well. But we're not reviewing that one today, so we'll review that one some other day. I would totally use these for sketchbook stuff, for personal, you know, if you want to do like drawings for people, but nothing that you're going to worry about being in the sun or anything. I would not use these for like something that I was going to, you know, sell as a piece of like functional art like this. Oh, let me show you this other one I did. Isn't that pretty? Look at that one. So these I used Posca and the Molotow. So my feeling on these is the skinny end is more consistent the way it lies down the paint. I mean, not 100%, as you can see over here. It's still changeable in the line, like from the beginning to the end, but it's more consistent on the skinny part than on the thick part. But I really like the marks that the thick part makes. These are really cool marks, so you could do a lot with that. You could do really cute, you could do some cute petals. Maybe you could do some cute like leaves. Like, these are fun. These are definitely fun, and I can't speak for the longevity of them in terms of like how long they're going to last me with regular use, but they're nice. I mean, this is like a really good deal for the money. So each one of these probably 50 cents. Totally a bargain. Oh, lastly, let's just test out the gold one, because gold is always such a wild card. Looks pretty good. So here's where we are. I want to test these out and make some art. So let's make some art with these. Okay, I can report back now after having used these in 2 different ways on 2 different types of paper. These are a nice economy paint pen. I don't think they're going to last very long. I'll just show you some close-ups here. As you can see, they're very uneven. They're not consistent. So sometimes you get a good opacity and consistent coverage, and sometimes you don't. For instance, with the lighter blue, you can see it's very streaky. You can see it's getting dried out towards the end. So here and here, the longer I used the pen, the more dried out it got. I know this is normal for like a pen. It's normal for a pen over time, not, you know, the first time you're using it. Sometimes like you'll get a set of economy style pens and the red colors will be not good, or the blue colors will be not good. This, I did notice it was kind of across the board mixed. So some of the blues were good. Like this blue was pretty nice, and it's not super consistent, but it's opaque enough that it's not really bothering me. This blue was a nice consistent blue. The darker blues were. The lighter blues I had problems with, as you can see here. The light green here, this was very streaky and inconsistent in color. And you know, some of them were okay. Like these weren't bad. Although, I mean, it's all relative to what I'm judging them against as well. And if I'm looking at them against like a Posca, like they're just not going to fly. Like, you know, Posca is a great pen, as is the Molotow. So, you know, those are kind of the gold standard. Although I have to say, like, I got them for super cheap. They're fun to use because they're just not going to last, I don't think. I wouldn't have to worry about them getting destroyed. This is the type of pen that I think is not going to last very long. I really like that big spongy fat tip. It's fun to use. It's fun to make marks with. But the quality of the paint is not something that I would want to use for projects that I need the paint to last on a product or a functional piece of art. It's fun to get a lot of colors for a cheap price. Several of the colors in this set are also almost identical. In that way, it's almost like getting several pens of the same color. So that's another thing to consider. You don't have to worry about destroying the tips because they're just not going to last that long, I don't think. So yeah, so I find that these are inconsistent. The paint itself, the quality of the paint is not consistently opaque. The delivery system, it's kind of fun because I like to get the different gradations. Like that, I think, is a lot of fun. It's also harder to control. So one thing that you could do is you could use a water brush pen and do different things, different effects with it. So if you wanted to get different effects with, say, a Posca, and the Posca is super opaque and consistent, you could use a water brush pen with your Posca. So this is Posca against these Betem pens. So you can always use a water brush with your Posca if you want to get different effects, different color gradients, different opacity level, and different style of line that you can get with these just by using the fat tip. But this is very inconsistent. So kind of a mixed bag. Yeah, I won't be buying these again. I'm really glad that I did buy them this time because it's always fun to try a new brand and to see how they work. I bought them with my own money too. I mean, you probably already know that, but for the record, if you're buying for somebody who just wants to experiment with them and see how they work and to goof around like for an afternoon or something, these are probably just fine for that. Let's see how they do drawing on a rock, because I think they're just not going to be very good. Yeah, they're just not very... They're not opaque enough, really, or the yellow isn't here. So I can't make it any more opaque without doing multiple layers. Then on the other side, so not really opaque. And then let's look at a Posca against these. Let's try yellow Posca. That's a yellow Posca. So, you know, it's really like a night and day kind of thing. I tend to feel this way about a lot of economy pens. They're fun for experimentation. They're fun to get different brush effects, but they're not going to be the foundation of your collection. They might be a good little add-on. They might be something fun to try and to fool around with, but always as an add-on, never as your base. the little spongy tip is super fun. They are fun. They're fun to play with. And you know, hey, after something dries out, maybe you can wash the tip out, and then with your Posca or your Molotow pen, when you're priming it and it gets like a little spillage, then maybe you can actually use this as a brush for that ink. Not in the pen, but just using it as an additional brush. So that's why these types of things can be really fun to experiment with, because they're not as precious. You don't care as much about them. So once they start like breaking down, in whatever way that is, like maybe the tip will last really well and the paint will just dry out. I mean, honestly, with some of these pens, the paint's already drying out. The paint is already feeling pretty dried out, and I just got them. So, and I just literally, I mean, that already feels like it's drying. And I just opened these and I'm just testing them out today. So this is just tester. They're not looking good for lasting, but look at how fun. I like to see how something can be used in different ways that maybe, maybe they weren't intended to be used just as brushes, but you could use that as a brush, because that is a fun little spongy tip. So, I don't know. Oh, you can pull it out. Awesome. Okay, so I wonder how that works. If these don't have the ball and the paint and shaky, then I thought it must just be one big long piece of saturated foam of some sort. And, there's always some sort of a stopper in there, so I'm not going to get like a big leak of paint or anything, but I don't know how these... I don't know how the mechanism works in there, since there's no gravity pull, there's no ball, there's no liquid ink in these. But, so they are fun. They're fun to fool around with. They're fun to experiment with. But I would not have these as the basis of my paint pen collection. But these are a fun little mix-up. These are fun to mix up your collection with, if you can get them at the right price. I would get them for as cheap as humanly possible. Maybe do what I did and do some window shopping on Amazon, and then see what kind of deals pop up in the next couple of days. I think they're always sort of changing things up with the algorithm on Amazon. So honestly, I do feel like that is probably why I got them for so cheap, because I was looking for paint pens, and I have some other paint pen videos on my channel, but I am going to be reviewing a couple of other paint pens soon. So, all right, have a great day. Bye.